Prior to scanning the colon, it is important to remember its anatomical conformation. The colon is made of 3 segments. Starting at the iliocicocolic junction, we can find the ascending colon. The transverse colon is lying caudal to the greater curvature of the stomach, and the descending colon is crossing sagittally the entire abdomen, mostly along the left side. The course of the colon can vary depending on the animal conformation, the variable size of the adjacent organs, and also the colonic contents. On this double contrast radiograph, the descending colon appears rectilinear, while it is curved on this positive contrast image, and tortuous in this feces-filled colon picture on this MRI image. The colon is the only segment of the GI tract entering the pelvic canal. Therefore, starting a colonic evaluation at the pelvic inlet is useful. Keeping in mind what we just reviewed, we place the probe at the pelvic inlet with the marker pointing to the right of the dog, creating a transverse image of the colon, which lays dorsal and lateral to the bladder. The probe is then moved slowly to identify the course of the descending colon. We can see the spleen of this dog in the near field. And when most of the descending colon is visualized, we try to identify the course of the transverse colon, switching the probe to keep it on the transverse view of the colon. Several small bowel segments will interfere, but we will see again the colon that appears just caudal to the stomach. Then we will search for the ascending segment, having again several small bowel interfering with the visualization of the thin wall colon, but we can find it again up to the iliocicocolic junction. Once that is evaluated, we will then go back to the descending colon and now keep a longitudinal axis to evaluate carefully the wall of the colon. We look specifically at the thickness and layering of the wall. We can see 2 hypoechoic layers. We will then place calipers on the serosal and mucosal margin to best measure the thickness of the wall, which is less than 2 millimeters in this dog. Here is a short video clip of the descending colon using a linear probe with higher resolution. The probe is first placed transversally, and we can notice the better definition of the colonic wall. Switching now to a longitudinal scan, we can recognize the shadowing and reverberation artifact related to the contents of the colon, but the colonic wall itself is much better visualized. We can easily identify separately the mucosa and muscularis layer that both appear hypoechoic, but notice that also they have similar thickness in the colon, unlike what we see in the small intestines.